And welcome to another episode of the It's Just a Hill Cycling Podcast. I am John Stenning, and I am joined by BSP, Norlan Olivo, Brian Cauti. How are you guys doing? Welcome to the show. We're here to talk about the tour. I said a lot of things at once. Norlan, let's start with you because I feel like you're always kind of clowning on me a little bit right from the beginning of the episode. So,
what do you think? I didn't say anything.
Okay, thank you, BSP. How are you on this wonderful evening?
Doing all right. How are you about yourself?
Yeah, no, I'm good, thank you. And Brian, welcome to the show. It's been a little bit of time since you've been on the podcast, but first time, long time, first time. Neither of those things.
It's been a minute.
Things.
Yeah. I invited myself after listening to the last two. I had FOMO. So
thanks.
And the part where you said you made toys, I was like, I lost it.
Norlan, you think I make toys?
I think that you have a thing or two to do with toys. And if I'm wrong about that, you were just like, yeah, I make toys.
yeah. I love that. Like you, instead of just asking me what I do for work, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Who cares?
Way better this way.
We're here to talk about bikes instead. We're here to talk about the Tour de France. It is over. I say that we start with the last week and what happened, because that's sort of how we've been covering it. And then we can talk about big picture stuff. The last stage that we covered was stage 15. So let's start with stage 16. This was a win by my arch nemesis, not because we would ever ride bikes against each other, but Jasper Philipsen won this stage. This is also the stage that Benny crashed. Benny crashed in this stage. Anything really stand out about this stage to you, BSP? I know we share some of the same thoughts about Jasper.
This is the start of the third week. This is Jasper's.
Yes, this is his third victory. This is his third victory. Yes,
man. On my only feelings about this stage is that I was pissed that he got a third because I wanted Benny to win more stages than Jasper.
Yeah, no good.
That's about it, I think, on that one.
Yeah, no good. Anything else stand out? Norlan, you have anything that stands out? He beat Phil Bauhaus and Alexander Kristoff in the sprint. I feel like this is like a classic week 3 sprint stage, kind of boring. Yeah.
And I think with that, he got one of the things, the lead out was, oh my God, filthy. He got the craziest lead out.
Yeah.
It might have been this one, but yeah, nothing really stuck out to me. I don't like that a lot of people were complaining. The only thing I will say, a lot of people were complaining there wasn't enough coverage or seemingly footage of what happened in the Benny crash. It was that was going to be my question. How did that happen? Because I don't remember actually seeing it happen.
I don't know, actually.
He was in the back, I think.
Wait. Is this like the only time Benny crashed?
Yes. Oh, so it is around a roundabout in the finale.
There's around a roundabout.
Yep, and he didn't even get to the sprint. It was before the sprint,
Yeah, and actually, I think it was under 3K, but yeah, it was around one of those giant rotaries. Yeah. And I think what they were saying was that because everyone was already going so fast and there was all these rotaries, everyone was really trying to cut the corner. So every time they came into a rotary, things compressed, and it looked like Benny just clipped someone's back wheel and he went down because he was definitely the first one to go down.
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch that stage live. I remember I was at the bike shop shooting a video and someone put a phone in front of my face to like show me the final sprint. The final sprint was happening. And like, honestly, I was totally fine with it. It wasn't, people obviously didn't see the Benny thing. And this was, kind of boring. That's okay. Stage 17, a little bit more exciting. Carapaz wins this stage, an actual win for the break. So Magnus Cort gets a sprint point. Finish line is Carapaz with Simon Yates right there, Enric Mas, Lawrence de Plus. But Carapaz ends up like attacking, and this was a pretty big win. I'm not sure if this puts him in the polka dot jersey. Brian, I think we were talking offline about how this was like, a tour that you watched maybe the most of, right? Like of recent tours. Were you watching this stage that Carapaz won? This was an exciting one for me that I watched a good amount of.
Yeah, it was more like I was watching like
Yeah, I would watch pretty much like the beginning of each stage and then
Yep.
like catch the end.
Yep.
But yeah, I thought it was awesome to see him, especially after crashing out last year, like the first
Yeah.
day.
4
So,
hours into the race or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was sick to see him like get some revenge and like he do the work that he did.
Yeah, this was a big break. There was Christophe Laporte. Wout was in this. Wow, both Wouts, Roman Bardet, and I think Carapaz ends up just he extends the lead on a descent. Um, yeah, pretty fun win. Anything else stand out to you guys from this stage, Norlan BSP?
I remember this stage was very exciting. I did watch a lot of this stage, especially like in the latter third of it. And this was one of those stages also that Simon Yates was way off the front alone.
Yeah.
And then Carapaz came up and caught him and then dropped him. But I just think that Simon Yates had a really great tour, especially in the second half. He was like really putting in the work, really making some attacks. He was in the breakaway multiple days on the hilly stages.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk. I would like to talk about that real quick because I do agree that Simon Yates had a great tour, but it seems like of all of the riders on UAE, he was the most likely to sacrifice his GC for Pog.
No, Simon Yates.
Oh,
Adam.
Wow. It's a real amateur move right there.
Adam had some good stuff happening too, but obviously, yes.
No, but that's not what you're talking about. That's not what you're talking about.
Not what I'm talking about. Sorry.
Man.
But I do think Simon, compared to previous years,
he had a good tour. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think he could have maybe. I think last year he started off. It was him and Adam. The first stage, they were gonna, they were fighting to win it. So I actually think he had a poorer tour, as Brian said at the beginning of this year, but then kind of made up for it with sort of being off the front or whatever. The only thing I have to say, wasn't that the stage where they just wouldn't let a breakaway go? There was a stage. It was like half. It was just like half of the stage was the breakaway trying, and then them not being satisfied, and everyone was attacking. It was total chaos.
I think that's actually the next stage.
I think it was the next.
Campenarts wins stage 18.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So I don't know. Let's just jump ahead and talk about that one, right? So to me, this was like one of a stage that truly stood out, as opposed to the last two stages. Not that, I mean, I think Carapaz had a great tour, and I'm happy that he won the stage, and I'm happy that he won KOM. But this stage to me was like very similar to that Mohoric stage from last year. Not only the way that it was raced, but also the way that those like emotions came at the end. I've been following Campy a lot more this tour. I've always sort of liked him, but like we've been talking about him on Instagram being really funny and stuff, and he's just like a great character. What do you guys think about this? I'm gonna get Harry to shut the hell up real quick, but if you guys want to talk about that real quick.
I'll just recap what I said but I thought it was just one of the most entertaining and chaotic stages because it was just relentless attacking, and then like they wouldn't let Wout go, and they wouldn't let this group go, and they wouldn't let these people go, and they kept bringing it back, and then they finally like settled on a group after like trying for so long, and then eventually it went. I thought that was the most exciting and like really hilarious part and like speaks to the politics of like cycling at times where it's like they're probably on the radio like, nah, this team got way too many people, like we're not letting this take away. You know what I mean? And they're like, nah, Wout's in here, nah, forget it, we're not letting this one go. I
remember seeing like a wide shot of that. There was just like people all over the road like trying to figure it out. It was chaotic.
Was that the one it was almost like a time lapse shot of everything that was happening, and you see everyone going like all around?
So.
Yeah,
they put like the Benny Hill music to it on the GCN Instagram.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Chasing each other.
Yeah, so this one said that the breakaway didn't take shape until like a big climb, essentially, right? And so there were so many different attacks. Sorry, BSP, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say was this the stage that oh no, it definitely was, because it was such a big deal about like how long it took to break break to finally make it, and Campenarts Instagram how he's doing the videos every day with Brent, his teammate.
Yeah, yeah.
And Brent was like, I just want to tell everybody that Victor did exactly what he said he was going to do. The night before, he said, I'm going at kilometer 85 or whatever. That's when I'm jumping. And he did right on, and he made it.
I think Campenarts is so interesting because he's on a team for now, like Lotto, that doesn't have the biggest budget, but he still does like all of this work to be like one of the most aero guys out there, right? Like just like cutting edge time trialist, but also just like so goofy. Like he doesn't wear glasses, right? Like, and people have talked about how like for some reason he thinks that that's more aerodynamic, right? Because he does he tests out his own equipment so much, his own position, as opposed to like, someone like Pog who gets into a tunnel and someone is like, okay, and they're making adjustments for you, like Campenarts like pays attention to that. And I just like, not to take anything away from Pog, but like, I love that about him. He just seems like such an individual, a rider that like really cares. I mean, there are those rumors that he's going to Visma, so maybe like who knows? Like what does what does that do for like a guy like that's TT? I mean, he came fifth in the TT. On the first TT, he came in fifth, right? Behind those four heavy hitters. That's pretty friggin' awesome, Like he was in that hot seat for a long time. I think this was like a great stage, and he ends up beating Cuyato and Matteo Vicher, who's like this rider from Total, right? And this guy crashed in the neutral start. That day he crashed during the neutral, and
was he the one who cried at the end too? That was really sad.
Yeah, like really, really emotional. I feel like he didn't think he like did the final sprint right, or maybe he thought if he hadn't gone down, in the beginning, he would have had a little bit of extra. I mean, I don't know. It's this was a good stage though. One of the highlights of the third week, I think.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have 3 stages to go, and the winner of the last 3 stages of the tour were the man himself, the king in the yellow jersey. Pog wins the last 3 stages. I feel like stage 19 was kind of like, really put it in the bag. That was up to Isola 2000, and then stage 20 was the one where people were like, he didn't let Jonas win. He should have let Jonas win.
Oh, yeah.
Which we can talk about that in a second. And then the TT was the last stage, and he cleaned up. He ends up winning 6 total stages. He's in the yellow jersey for maybe 18 stages or something. He has broken the record for the amount of days in a leader's jersey in a Grand Tour in 1 calendar year, with the amount of time that he was in the pink jersey and the yellow, right? He did the Giro Tour double. I mean, it is absolutely wild what we witnessed, I think. I do think
absolutely
it's pretty wild. Yeah. What's your sort of takeaways on Pog himself? BSP, talking about those last 3 stages, which one sort of stands out to you the most?
19.
So the one
Isola 2000.
Yeah.
The one when Jorgensen was looking like he was probably going to win.
Yeah.
And whenever like Pog made that attack away from Jonas and Remco with like, I don't know how many K left, like 10 or something.
Yeah.
And like just how quick, like when he jumped, it was like, was it something like 2.5 minutes or 2 minutes
was something crazy
to Jorgensen?
Yeah.
And he just closed that so friggin' quick. And
yeah,
he made Jorgensen look like he was being spit out the back of the peloton.
Yeah.
And he was cranking up the mountain.
Yeah.
It was wild. Yeah.
I didn't care as much about 20 and like feeling like he should have let Jonas win. I didn't necessarily feel that way, but I was more upset about Jorgensen.
Upset that you didn't get to see him win, or upset that Pog beat him?
I'm upset that Pog beat him.
Yeah,
sucks.
Yeah.
Because I wanted Jorgensen to win.
You wanted,
and he did such a big effort, and he had such a good day, and it was looking so good. And then Jonas, I mean, and then Pog's just like, oh yeah. By the way, I got that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
You wanted him to win, John? You wanted Pog to win there instead of Mateo?
Yeah, I wanted Pog to win every single stage of the tour. This is the year of Pog. Pog is going to win the world champions jersey. He's going to be in the rainbow bands. 2024 is the year of Pog. Yes. Like, as much as I love Jorgensen, as much as I love Visma, I don't expect him not to win. I don't expect him not to want to win, right?
Yeah.
All of this, like, letting someone win, which I think like could have been more the case on stage 20, because on stage 19, he still kind of had to put the stamp on it. He still had to kind of put the stamp on it, I think.
Yeah.
There was still a chance that Jonas could have done something on stage 20. Now, in hindsight, we know that wasn't true. But also, listen, I like these guys. I'm a Visma fan. I'm not their friends. I don't fucking care. Like, I don't fucking care.
Where does that come from? I heard of, like, obviously all the people you hate, TJ, they're all like, he should have let him win. It's gonna, the Peloton's not gonna like him for that. So what is the etiquette? Because like I said, I've only been watching like 3 or 4 years. Why do people think he should have let him win? Like, does anyone, what?
Because people are soft.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we're talking about racing.
I don't think Jonas would have wanted him to let him win. Like,
no.
To take a free win like that, I would be upset because you didn't actually earn it.
Listen, I understand that we're living in a society where people are like more sensitive to each other's feelings, right? But like, this is not a grand fondo. It's the Tour de France. Like, it's not like this guy could be the best cyclist of all time. He's 20 wins away from like the record now in the Tour, right? As far as like Cav's record is concerned. He's like 26 years old or something, right?
Like, he's 25.
25?
And he's only done 5 tours.
Right.
By the way,
it's crazy. He loves to race his bike. And I do not. Would it have been nice to see Jorg win? Yes. Would it have been nice to see Jonas win? Yes, for sure. Would it have been nice for like the Tour to be 2 minutes instead of 7 minutes? Yeah. But like, I can't fault a guy for racing his bike. This is the last 2 years he lost. He lost the last 2 years. And people were like, before that, they were like, Pog's going to win every tour, right? He wins 2 in a row. Pog's going to win every tour. Then Jonas comes and wins 2 in a row, and it's Jonas is going to win every tour. Well, now guess what? Fucking Pog's back. And he wanted to be like, I'm fucking here to win. Like, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah. BSP, you seem upset. What do you think?
Oh.
How do I see? I want to see everybody.
I have to ask you to unmute.
Please unmute, sir.
No, I'm not upset. And it's, at the end of the day, it's racing. I'm just upset because I watched almost that entire stage 18.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 19.
19. Yeah. With Jorgensen.
And was fully invested in Jorgensen winning that stage. So I'm upset. And I think as a fan, I have my right to be upset.
Oh, for sure.
Whatever I want to be. But clearly, yes, Pog is out to dominate, and he was the strongest one. So,
and the way he pulled away, like
unreal.
The way he pulled it when he was just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna finish this. It was like Jonas was just like standing still.
Yeah, so like I didn't watch that stage live, but I did watch the next stage live, and that was when it came close at the line. And I will say that last like 2 or 3K was maybe the most like worked up I had been all tour because it was so close, right? Like, wow, is Jonas gonna get another win? Right?
Is that when Jonas was pulling and then he swapped? He like flicked for Tade to go up ahead of him.
Yeah, and it was it was an absolute destruction with even like maybe 500 meters to go, right? Like Jonas put in one little dig and Pog went, okay. And he went like he had 10 times as much as Jonas had. Like, and after the stage, they were like, what did you think, Jonas, about that? And he was like, well, at a moment, I thought maybe he'd let me win, but I can't fault him for not letting me win, you know? Like,
But I actually like that stage just because Jonas was like, all right, Remco, like, relax.
Yeah,
So remember, Remco attacked in the last, and then he just clearly didn't have enough. And then Jonas was like, all right, I'm going to go now. And then they just, him and Tadej were just
because
gone.
Remco did drop Jonas the day before.
I don't remember. Did he?
He did. He dropped Jonas the day before on that Jorgensen ride, on that Jorgensen day.
Yeah,
so there was a little, like, there was a time, right, where people were like, oh, is Remco gonna hop over Jonas in the standings? Turned out not so much. Why are you booing Remco? You don't like Remco?
No, it's fine.
Why don't you like Remco? No, I have I like Remco.
I just like the competition. I just think it's so cycling is so funny, at least in the last years that I've watched. It's so like speculative. It's like one bad stage and it's like, that's it. Remco got him. He's gonna be second. It's over. And I just like when they like show each other. They just, they go back and forth and they battle and they go, that's why I was asking why people were so, they made it seem like it was like, Jonas should have won that stage and like it was really foul play so that's why I'm like, I'm not understanding something about like they're not supposed to race or do certain things, but like I don't know. That's why I'm like asking y'all. Like, but I like.
So I will say, I don't think tradition should be done just for tradition's sake. Let me say that, because I think like tradition just for tradition's sake is bullshit. But that being said, there was a time where the Tour was not won by winning stages. It was won by gaining minutes in the mountains as you let a breakaway win, right? So a breakaway would go up the road, 8 people would battle for a stage win, and then there'd be a GC battle behind, right? And that was like generally how Lance won, how Froome won, how Wiggins won, right? Was by like destroying the GC contenders in the end. And so these guys who are set in their fucking ways, who rode their bikes in the 2000s, are like, it's not like that anymore. They're just jealous and they have a platform to put it on the air. So they're like, oh, I don't like the way this is being raced. I don't think Pog cares that TJ Van Garderen doesn't like the way that he races. Like, it's irrelevant. It is absolutely irrelevant. Now, whether or not you want to talk about like how if he's doping or if they're all doping, right? That's not what I'm here to discuss. It's that like this guy is so good and we're watching him and everyone just like has like reasons to be haters. And I know like you've accused me of being a hater on here before, Norlan. I get it. I'm a fucking hater. That's fine. I hate a lot of things. I do not hate that Pog wants to win. I can't.
It happens with everything. It's the same thing. It's like the Tom Brady shit or the Patriots. Everybody hates the Patriots because they win. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
I gotta just add, and you can cut this part. So just every time Shaka says, every time you say Pog, he just thinks of something else.
You think of like,
and now every time you say it, I just can't stop laughing.
Every time I say Pog, you think of something else.
No, not me. My friend who listens to the podcast.
Oh, okay. That's really inside baseball.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you know after.
Oh, all right. Is this like a Glizzy thing?
Yes. This is like a Brian Glizzy thing.
Oh, okay.
Not you, Brian. The other BSP.
Yeah, the BSP Glizzy.
I'm familiar with the Glizzies.
Yeah. So right, Pog wins. There's all the fanfare. I didn't watch too much of it. I did watch his speech at the end. Did everyone watch Pog's speech on the stage where he made a joke about the chips that were thrown in his face?
No, I missed that.
He was like, "Oh, and just so you know, the team nutritionist is pretty upset with you guys for throwing chips on my face. I'm not supposed to eat chips or drink beer during a Grand Tour."
Oh my God.
Wow.
And like Jonas kind of laughed. It was when they were all up on the podium.
I did see someone handed him a Domino's pizza. And he took the box and was like walking surrounded by police officers eating slices of pizza out of it. Yeah.
Remco is a Domino's spokesperson.
Really?
There are Domino's commercials in Belgium starring Remco Evenepoel.
I'm gonna look
That's
that up.
insane.
That's fire.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I take it all back.
Yeah.
I feel like now I'm seeing posts with everybody eating Domino's. Like
Really? I haven't seen
a
any.
lot of riders. All the
Really?
big Visma riders.
I
Like,
hadn't
wow.
seen any.
Ate a pizza, but I don't
Jonas,
know.
everyone's eating pizza.
Maybe they were just like
Domino's.
posted up at the end,
Yeah,
giving out
Domino's
pizzas.
was handing out pizza. Yeah.
probably.
Sponsored.
Yeah.
And then they take pictures and they can post them, and then they just get like
Advertisement.
free advertising without actually having to sponsor somebody.
Yeah, especially because all the teams fight about whether or not they should drink beer or not during the tour, right? Because that was like a big thing last year. Unchained made it like a huge deal.
Yeah.
The joke? Hey, let me go back to that joke that Pog made though during his speech. Like, I thought overall it was a pretty good speech. I'm glad that I watched it in that moment, but like the joke didn't land super well.
No, he delivered it terribly.
And it wasn't a good joke, and he delivered it poorly.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he brought up the chip thing again.
I actually think it was a good joke. And I think like whoever came up with that joke on the bus, like told it well. And he was like, I'm going to use that, you know? And he just like, he's like, I'm gassed. You know, he doesn't have time. His brain doesn't have time to be telling jokes. Like he just can't deliver it the same way as like the nutritionist
Maybe.
that was like, because I think it was a good joke. I think it was a good quality joke. I appreciated it. It's just.
Yeah, the delivery, if it was a better delivery, it might have made it better.
The Domino's delivery was better than the joke delivery.
Just that up, wet up.
All right, so top 5 is Pogs in first, then Jonas, then Remco, right? Then Joao Almeida and Mika Landa round out the top 5. Landa is at 20 minutes, though. He's 20 minutes behind Pog in 5th place, which is a pretty big gap in between just the top 5, right? So I believe in the top 20, I believe the 20th person was 1 hour, 5 minutes behind the 20th place rider. So big gap there. You also, let's talk about the other 3 jerseys. So Remco leaves with the white jersey, best young rider. First time that Pog cannot win it. KOM jersey goes to Carapaz, who gobbles up most of those points in the last week pretty strategically. And what I think is, maybe the second most exciting other than the yellow jersey itself was Binny wins the green jersey, and he kind of only wins it because Jasper Philipsen was relegated. So he actually paid the price. Jasper pays the price for being a jackass and does not win the green jersey. Right. First Black African to win a stage and to win a green jersey, which, I mean, unreal. He was not the sprint leader for this team going into the tour, right? He was not the sprint leader for Intermarché, which is pretty wild to think about,
So who was the sprint leader?
I'm like, that's nuts.
I don't know his name. I forget his name. It's not Louis Menkes.
Not Menkes, no.
No. I guess
I can pull it up here.
Okay.
Yeah. He was just like, I'm just going to start sprinting.
So essentially, I
see what happens.
Like, I mean, obviously he's a good sprinter, right? But he's not like a true sprinter. He's, more of a versatile type of sprinter. And I think going into the stage, they probably said like, we're gonna give this other rider the team. But going into the final sprint, he was in like 8th position, and so he was like, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah.
In that stage that he got the win, like in that first week, And I think from there on out, it was like, okay, he's chasing green. We got to ride for him. So
that's fire.
He definitely knows how to do it. He navigates through everybody so well.
Gerben Tyson? No,
yeah,
he did
Tyson.
Not. Yeah, Gerben Tyson was the sprinter for Intermarché Wanty, who actually DNF'd. He DNF'd the tour.
Yeah. Number 15.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, like maybe they just didn't expect him to be in that form. They knew that this was going to be a pretty, sprint heavy tour, right? With like all these stages, with Cav being there, Philipsen being there. Yeah, and I think that's really exciting. I think the KOM jersey is pretty exciting too. Oh, one thing. So Abrahamson, right? He's in KOM jersey like almost the whole time, right? Because he's going into the breaks, he's gobbling up all these points. at the end of the tour, there's a most combative award. Are you guys familiar with the most combative? Do you know who got that award?
Yeah, Richard Carapaz.
Yeah, Carapaz got it. Why?
I thought, wasn't Carapaz even in the first week where he didn't win the polka dot jersey? Wasn't he in the breakaway like 2 or 3 stages? So they're probably thinking, I'm just gonna give you the logic. I'm not saying that he deserves it. I'm just saying, so you're in the breakaway a lot in the first week, and then the second week you're there almost every day. So much so that you win the freaking fucking KOM jersey. So they're probably like,
yeah, but most combative is kind of like a, hey, you did a good job, but you didn't win a jersey. Carapaz won a jersey and won a stage.
I thought it was most combative, because if it's most combative, then you give it to Tade. That's the fucker.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, what does most combative mean?
Being on a team like Uno
being
X
aggressive
and being the most aggressive, like I think he was more aggressive than Carapaz. Carapaz was only aggressive in week 3.
Yeah.
He was in like every break, just about.
Abrahamson was stealing sprint points.
Yeah.
Like during stages where he was in the break for no reason. Other riders were looking at him like, what are you doing, bro? We're letting you have the KOM points. Why are you stealing these sprints?
What is the most combative person? Like, do they get a trophy or a dirt? Like, what do they get?
They probably get a bonus. It's probably a financial bonus. Yeah. Or, a write-up to talk about riders. Like, that's really big for sponsors. Someone like Uno X,
He also, like, led, I don't remember what stage it was, but he was out front by himself, like, the whole stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, get the hell out
of here.
And
I think that most combative always goes to someone like Abrahamson did in the first half of this tour, where it's like they are just attacking, making moves like that, versus someone like Tade, who is just like, sitting in as much as they can until those strategic points at the tops of climbs when they just make that attack. So it's like the amount of actual attacks that Tade did is probably significantly less than all of those like fighting times that Abrahamson and Carapaz types did throughout the entire tour.
Was it Ben Healy last year? It might have been Ben Healy last year. Just like a guy that's like constantly up the road.
It was either Healy or Campenarts, maybe.
Yeah. But it's nice, and I think it's nice when it comes from someone like that doesn't necessarily clean up on stage wins, isn't necessarily getting a lot of UCI points. It's good. It's good for the team, and
And Ben Healy got a little spicy in the mountains.
He did. He went a little bit too hard sometimes. I really love him.
He kept blowing himself up.
He kept blowing up a lot. He didn't do that as much last year. Last year, he really held on a lot longer. And maybe it's because he cut his hair and bleached it. He didn't have that mullet. He didn't have the mullet anymore. Yeah. Okay, real quick, I'd just like to talk about some of our predictions. Basically, I think the only one I had right was I said year of Pog, right? I've kind of been saying it all year. I said that Mads Pedersen was going to win green. Did not happen. I said that Jorgensen was going to win KOM. Did not happen. I also said that he was going to podium, and that didn't happen. BSP, you said that Cavendish was going to get a stage win early, right? Which we talked about last episode, which was true. But then you said he would drop out. Well, guess what? Not only did he not drop out, he was the Lantern Rouge. He was the slowest rider in the tour. Was Mark Cavendish himself.
That's fire.
Maybe like 6 hours behind or something.
Yeah, something wild, like 6 hours behind. So
they should give that person a jersey. That's fire.
You really got to hand it to him. Let's hand it to him.
Oh, look at that.
Mark Cavendish.
There he is throwing up over his shoulder.
Here he is. Congratulations, Mark. Good job. 36 wins.
Boo.
35 wins and throwing up on stage 1. Imagine that. He went from this to finishing the tour.
Unreal.
I could never do that.
So
imagine that. That guy finished last. Can you believe it?
This guy, he won a stage. He puked. He won a stage and he finished absolute last. And he's a legend.
That really should be a shirt.
It's a shirt. Listen, one of one shirt is being printed as we speak. One of one. Sorry.
Who this guy? I'm gonna go Jeff. Yo, Jeff.
That's Team America meme.
Hit up Jeff right tonight because he's printing them like today or tomorrow. And you can get
hit him up.
You can get one. But yeah, there he is. The man himself, Mark Cavendish.
How do you do that? He's so tech savvy. That boy is so tech savvy.
Thanks. So let's talk about, before we started recording, I asked you guys to pick a favorite stage of the tour and a favorite moment. So let's talk stage first. Norlan, what was your favorite stage of this last Tour de France?
It's gotta be, I believe that was it 11?
Stage 11.
When Tadej attacked, went all the way in the front, and then you had Roglic and Jonas chasing him back, and then Jonas made it, and then somehow caught up, and then beat him at the sprint. That's about as perfect, I think, entertainment and like tour-wise as you can get. It had everything. It had a slight breakaway. It had drama. It had people coming back. It had all the top GC fights. Like that stage was hype as fuck. So I really like that stage.
That was a great stage. Stage 11. Brian, what do you think?
I had. Oh,
sorry. No, that's you, Brian. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, come on, BPSP. I did have Jonas out sprinting Tadej as well, but also
my favorite.
More on, it was amazing. More on like a comedy level of stages. I thought stage 9 was great. The gravel stage.
Oh, gravel stage was good. The gravel stage paid off. It did.
Yeah, because everybody that wasn't in the break had to walk up that hill. It was hilarious because none of those guys ride gravel. And I thought that was hilarious. And then just like Remco getting mad at Jonas for not.
He got mad. Yeah, Remco kind of. Remember, I think he actually quote. I'm pretty sure the quote was Jonas doesn't have balls. I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
Something like that.
And there was a lot of criticism for Jonas at that point of the tour, right? This was like, Jonas doesn't ride, he doesn't pull. I mean, like this guy broke a bunch of ribs and punctured his lungs.
I think a lot of people forget that.
He punctured his lungs so badly that like stuff was leaking out of one into the other. And he came second in the tour, and people are like, this guy. I mean, get the fuck out of here.
Boo.
That's so.
You got to think how close it would have been if if he was on point.
Right. I mean, obviously Pog was on a level that he'd never been on before.
Forget on point. If fucking Sepp Kuss would have been there,
true,
might have got even. Come on, bro. I can't wait for next year. Oh my god.
Hell yeah. I want to talk about that too. But BSP, do you got a favorite stage?
I had a real tough time sort of picking a favorite stage, but I landed on 17, the one 17. That Carapaz won.
Okay. Yep.
Because it was at that point, like we were talking about after the second rest day podcast, where we were saying, all right, now that it's taken this long for Pog to really like pretty much have it in the bag, now they're going to let people go up the road. Now we're going to see some exciting stages finally. Yeah. And so that was the first one in the third week,
right?
Where it was like, all right, Peloton's letting them go. Let's see what happens. Right. And then Simon Yates is making this big long break. Carapaz is going to bridge it. And it was pretty exciting.
What about, so you said you had a hard time picking a stage. What about favorite moment? Is that different than the stage?
Yeah.
What's your favorite moment?
Well, let me ask you this. So
what
was your favorite stage?
11. I like seeing Jonas win. He
won so much though.
No, Jonas.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying. How do you team Pog? You're Pog, but now you're saying
Listen, Norlan, something I know that you might not know me too well, okay, but this is a lesson for everyone listening. This is even a lesson for BSP and Brian if they don't know it already. But I'm a complex individual, okay? Like things are not black and white with me. I wanted Pog to win, but I wanted Jonas to win stages. I can like them both. I'm not like it's not like basketball or baseball to me. It's very different, I feel like cycling cycling fandom is like nuance. To me, it's more nuanced than like rooting for a team,
Yeah, for sure.
They're both pretty likable guys.
Yeah, I think they're very likable in different ways too,
Right. I I will throw out there when they were passing around the bag of M&Ms, that was amazing.
That was good. That was a good moment. Yeah. Bag of M&Ms was good.
I did actually. Sorry to interrupt you, John.
No.
That was a moment where when they were passing around that bag of M&Ms, it made me think about all the times that you'll have gummy bears, Brian, or something.
Yeah.
And we'll be on a long ride together, and you just like passing around that bag.
Gummy
Hey,
bears.
you want some gummy bears?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's
making
great.
me want to ride again.
Yeah, that's great. I also liked the Magnus Court mustache, and then also the mustache back and forth with Jonas a little bit. Jonas calling it his his what were we saying, Norlan? Yeah.
Oh, he was like, yes, I don't know if I have great mustache capabilities.
The capabilities. Yeah.
How do you say?
Yeah.
How do you say capabilities? So that was fun.
Another moment that I really liked that we talked about on the first one. Remember when was it Soler and Ayuso yelling at each other?
Oh yeah, Almeida and Ayuso. Yeah. Yeah.
That was hilarious. I love when riders bark at each other. You're like, come on, bro. Like,
yeah, Ayuso's he's an interesting case, right? He ends up leaving the tour like midway through, but he's yelling with Almeida at one of those stages. It's not really clear like if he was really there to ride for Pog or just ride for himself. I mean, he's a very strong rider. He's a very young rider. UAE's young development is really good right now, right? Like guys like Ayuso, guys like Isaac Del Toro, they're going to absolutely be crushing it. It's funny, like, any of those guys, if Pog goes down, can like be the guy for the team at any Grand Tour. Not to say that I want Pog to get hurt or something, but like stuff happens in cycling, and UAE is like a hell of a team, and
this makes it hard.
I like that.
That's why I think they were fighting, because there's so much talent on there that they're probably like, it's funny to bark at each other as riders, but it's funny when it's all on the same team. But they have so much talent. That's what I was worried about in that moment. I'm like, this is hilarious, but also like, ooh, I hope they like know, or like they know what they're riding for, and they have a clear, whatever pecking order or whatever teams do decide what the heck is going on. I don't know.
Yeah, they had like essentially 4 GC riders, so that was bound to happen.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. Did you guys hear about that? Some of the teams were upset with the way that race radio is being broadcast. Sometimes if you're watching, do they do this on NBC Sports? All of a sudden you'll hear like from the race radio. Some teams pulled out mid-race because they were worried about what was being broadcast, and that other teams were going to be like listening to it.
You can do that?
You can what?
You can just say, "No, we're not going to."
So there was some sort of contract between the teams and the race organizers. There was an agreement that they wouldn't broadcast everything, or they would sort of have a say. I think this is similar to UAE wanting a say in the footage that Netflix uses, but I'm pretty sure Ineos and maybe Visma both opted out like middle of the race. UAE was worried that they were like talking about tactics, and so they were sort of opting out. And I thought that was kind of an interesting fold. I think it's cool. Nice. It's cool to hear it.
Thought of that.
Like I like hearing it sometimes, even though Sean Kelly always gets interrupted. If you're watching the Eurosport feed, Sean Kelly always gets interrupted, and he won't stop. He'll just keep talking. Like he's like no, I don't respect this like level of interruption. Which just true.
You need the radio, because that was one of the hardest moments. Was the many men, many.
Yes.
Come on. How do you not? That's like, you need that. It makes it so fun. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was good. Another thing I saw in sort of the news of the tour was I heard that Van der Poel and his dad, who also partially owns the team, they were complaining that there weren't enough stages suited for Mathieu Van der Poel. Did anyone else see this? This was a complaint. This is a complaint from Van der Poel's dad. And let me just say, like, what a crock of shit this is. There were 2 classic stages that started the tour that breakaway riders won, Romain Bardet and Vauquelin, right? Van der Poel didn't get up in a break that worked once, and he was just there to train for the Olympics. And I think it's bullshit that, like, he didn't. He had a couple good lead outs. Obviously, Jasper won 3 stages. I'm sure Alpecin is happy enough, even though I feel like that Christoph Rudolph, I've never seen him happy in my life. I'm not sure he knows how to be happy. But yeah, I read this that Vanderpool and his dad were complaining there weren't enough stages for him,
Oh,
and
brother.
that's why he didn't win any. Yeah,
Man, that sounds like who was it in basketball from a few years back with like was it like twins and their dad was like super involved and crazy?
yes, the Ball brothers, the Ball, yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes. LeVar Ball,
That's what that made me think of.
yes, yes, yes. LeVar Ball is
That's so
much
funny.
like Vanderpool's dad. That's a good reference. Also, another thing, and not to go from a rider that I don't care for to a rider I really care for, but there was a lot of talk of like Wout being washed, and I think that people don't really realize like the amount of like injury that he had leading up to this with the best training. I saw a lot of like, oh, Wout should have won multiple stages, and like
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, well, so what do you think, Brian? Like, should Wout have won a bunch of stages, or?
I don't know if he should have won a bunch of stages, but I'm also not familiar with the injuries that he had like Jonas did, but
it wasn't as serious, but it definitely interrupted his training.
He didn't seem to be working for Jonas as much.
No, not really.
Like at all.
Yeah. I just don't think he had it. I don't think he had the engine that he normally has. I mean, one year he won a mountain stage, a TT, and a sprint stage. That was 2022. 22, I believe. That. Yeah. He won that Ventoux stage that they went up Ventoux twice. And that was one of the best performances ever. And like, that's better than like 99% of riders, like, I don't know. I feel like there was a lot more like negative press than there was positive press around this tour, like.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I'm not even paying attention to that shit. I'm just like, oh, the tour is coming. All right, let me download Peacock and then.
Like even like Remco. Like Remco had a great tour. Like I think Remco had an amazing tour. He did what people have been doubting that he could do. It like uphold a 3-week stage race, and people just seem much more likely like not to talk about that, but just like talk about whether or not they think Pog is doping or I don't know. Maybe I'm just focusing on the negative too much. I just feel like there was a lot of negative news surrounding this tour, but I thought it was a very exciting race.
Yeah. I think the doping thing is everywhere. I've been seeing that a lot, but I mean, Tade did make a statement on it. I don't remember the exact quote, but it was a good response. It was basically like, what's the point? Like, why would I do damage to my own body?
Yeah.
Like taking drugs when I can just do it naturally.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I don't think it's a conversation. I think it's a conversation worth having, but it really is like, it's just very, very dominant of people just being like, oh, well, and like, are we just to blame? Like, is it Lance's fault? Is it his fault that like everyone just thinks cyclists are doping all the time?
Yes.
Like,
I don't know. You think so? Because
in America, I think the answer is yes. Yeah.
Probably, yeah. But the perspective for me is always just like, I think sometimes I think that having such a wide perspective or like a long time in the sport watching it clouds the judgment because people have this huge context, right, to vary it from. And I feel like almost like I've watched it for 4 or 5 years, and every single year that I've watched it, someone has said that someone was like juicing or doing something. But if you think about it, like people will be like, Tade is on something. But I'm like, how about the guy that only came 20 seconds behind him on this thing? How about Remco? How about so it's like to say that one person is doing it is very silly when a lot of these stages, you're talking about 3 weeks, 6 minutes. Okay, like maybe that's a little bit not as close as last year or whatever the case may be. But that still doesn't mean anything per stage when you divide it. You still have 5 to 10 people who are crushing records too. Yeah. So then what are you guys talking about? Like there's no validity to it, in my opinion. They just single out one guy, which is the guy who wins, and then it's like, okay, what does that mean?
I found the quote from him that is actually kind of going back in time with what we're talking about. He said, "There will always be doubts, because of cycling before my time in any sport, if someone is winning, there's always jealousy and haters. I tell you now, it's not worth it. Taking anything to risk your health is stupid. End quote.
I like that part at the end is interesting, right? Because it's almost like he's trying to like make sure the youth don't think that like doping is worth it, which I guess is
Crack is whack.
Yeah. It does seem very dare of him. But yeah, I mean, like Derek G, right? Derek G, I don't know where he finished, top 20, right? Maybe 12th or something. Was he ninth? Ninth. Thank you. Derek G would have destroyed, Lance's numbers.
Yeah.
Right? He would have destroyed Froome numbers from 10 years ago, Wiggins numbers, right? Like
advancements.
Yeah, advancements happen, right? And it's not just because they run wider tires, and it's not just because they do training camps, but it's because of all of the things, right? And like science, and I mean, maybe it's because they're doping too, or maybe it's because they figured out something. Maybe it's because they figured out something that they don't know about yet, right? Like, I think that's probably more the case
too. Like they're so young. Like, how old was like? I just feel like in the past people were like 28, 30, 31, like 23, 24. Like, I just feel like because of that, and they're doing it way younger.
Right.
Like they're starting off way younger. They're just developing faster. And by the time they get to their prime, they're younger. So now they can, higher heart rate, and they can just do things that, by the time you're in your late 20s, early 30s, like that's just what happens to the body. So it's just, even that is just like, they got like 6-8 years on a lot of these dudes. Like that makes a big
totally
difference.
Different, right? It's so many things are different. So many things are different that you can, and just because someone is winning does not mean someone is doping. Like that is not evidence for someone cheating, right? Like, why is it not innocent until proven guilty? It's the opposite in cycling. It is the opposite. Like that's what it feels like. And it's like, it's wild, like,
are they not doing like any sort of testing like before every stage?
They're testing Pog's piss after every single stage.
More than ever, probably.
Every stage that he wins, there's a piss test right after the stage. And they're scanning their bikes for motors inside the bikes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait, time out.
Yeah, they got their little wand
thing.
Yes, there is a wand. There's an iPad with an app. They believe there's
who did it? Who did it though? I don't
remember who did it. Someone got caught like maybe 10 years ago or something for having a little motor inside like their bottom bracket, essentially.
Like they broke it open and it was like a motor in there.
Yeah,
like an e-bike.
Like an e-bike.
Whoa, how does that even happen? That's crazy. I thought they were joking when they brought that up.
And even if it gives you, it's like based on torque and it's, it gives you an extra 10% or something, right? But like that's an advantage and it's going to lower your fatigue versus other riders doing the same efforts. So I mean, it's a lot to talk about. It's very much in the discussion, but every year it is, right? Last year it was Jonas with the TT, it always happens. And especially I think in American sports media, which,
Yeah.
All right. Anything you guys want to add about the tour before we play a quick game? Yes, BSP, go for it.
I'd like to say that I have two favorite moments from this tour. They're both Campenarts related.
Nice.
Campenarts winning that stage 18.
Yep.
And how massive it was for him, and then how emotional he was after.
Yep.
Similar to the Mohoric interview, but kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
And just how much he thanked his girlfriend and everything. And it was just like such a nice moment.
Yeah.
And you love to see these guys showing that much emotion. But I love to see it. And then the other thing with him was, I didn't see this in the moment, but I saw it on his Instagram after from one of his like nighttime posts or whatever, or that he records at night and then uploads the next morning, where he was, talking with Brent about, Victor showed me today how to pee in a bottle, in case anybody didn't. Did you see that post?
Yeah.
Did everybody see that post?
No, I didn't see that.
So good.
Norlan, you see
it? Yes.
and they showed the footage. Like someone like found that moment from that day, and then they like screen recorded it, and then they like circled where Cam Farris was like,
My God.
yeah, like
in a
he
bottle.
like put peed it. You open up one of your bottles, dump the water out, and you pee in the bottle, so you don't have to go off the side of the group and pee that way. And then you just take it and then you chuck it. But before he chucked the pee bottle, he was like, someone was coming up on his right, and he offered. He was like, "What's the water?" or something like that. And then the guy was like, "No," and then he chucked it.
Now imagine being a fan picking that up.
Yeah, picking up that one. Oh, look at this. Yeah.
I didn't know people were doing that. Like, I know that obviously peeing off the bikes while riding, but I didn't know that they're doing that.
Can you do that anymore?
It's pretty clever.
Are they calling for that? I thought like you couldn't pee off the bike while
you're not
riding.
supposed to do it on camera. You're not supposed to do it near the camera. I saw like 3 or 4 guys in a row, like their backs, as the camera was coming up from behind them doing it this year. I didn't see it as much this year. I don't think I saw Geraint Thomas pee one time. And I think in the Tour last year, I saw him piss about 5 times. Yeah. Like he was getting fined left and right for it, which I think is very fun.
I think there was one thing I noticed about, maybe it was just on camera more this year. I feel like fans were like policing other fans more this year, like pushing people off the course, like hugging them, like kicking them. One guy like kicked some dude in the ass, like, and then there was another. It happened like one after another. Some dude was running up behind Tadej and Jonas, and the dude like pulled him off, and then a police motorcycle directly behind that kicked the dude.
Kicked him. Yeah.
That's fire.
Yeah, you're right. You don't normally see that, right? But it seems like maybe those people are being, they're being like policed by the rest of the crowd, which is like kind of nice, right? Because I mean, we talked about the guy throwing chips in Pog and Jonas's face. We talk about,
Did you see the guy running along Tadej and his sandal fell off?
No.
Oh yeah.
You didn't see that? No. He's running along Tadej. He's running in fucking flip-flops. His sandal flies off his foot, and Tadej ran it over.
Oh my God. There's one guy the one guy that pushed him right after the chips were in his face and like pushed him from behind. Like,
Phil's like, oh, you can't be running alongside riders in flip-flops.
Yeah, Phil, classic. Great play-by-play.
He's talking crackers.
Norlan, any other tour moments?
No, didn't Tadej spray he sprayed water at
he sprayed water at Urska.
Yeah.
She was like on the side of the road handing out like bottles and stuff. He took his bottle and sprayed it right in her face. And did you see him throw his bottle into the other team's car one day?
Yes.
No, what team was it?
It was Total. I think it was Total Energies car. He like took a bottle from a UAE car, like a full bottle, and he had the empty in his mouth. And he took the full, he put the full in his cage, and he took the empty and like tossed it in their window and went like, "Thank you." Like, sorry,
so good.
I just wanted to ditch that bottle. Like,
that's fire.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I feel like there was a lot of shenanigans this year that was entertaining.
Yeah.
And then one other thing I wanted to mention that I forgot, I had it in my notes. I don't remember what stage it was, but when Jonas was attacking and Tadej was on his wheel and he unscrewed his bottle, hands, and poured water on his head.
Yeah.
Was like the most badass thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That
was
like pedaling with no hands. Like, who knows how many watts they were doing at that moment.
Yeah, Jonas was like gassed. I think that was stage 19. It was
badass.
That was unreal. Yeah, I mean, he really showed up. I mean, he in the past he couldn't, not that he couldn't, but he didn't perform the same way as Jonas on those 40-minute climbs. And I mean, he changed the way that he rode. He definitely rode better, right? I mean, he was better in the heat than he's ever been. I mean,
longer climbs. I think a lot of longer climb training.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So to stay on topic here, we are going to do a Tour de France 20 questions, right? So all of these things in this 20 questions game are related to the 2024 Tour. most of which we have already mentioned in this episode, right? So it could be a rider, it could be a team, it could be like something random that we talked about, a place, whatever. Participants, you three are going to take turns guessing one of these things, right? And it's a yes or no question. If your question gets a yes, you can ask another question or you can guess. If your question gets a no, then we move on to the next person, okay? If you guess correctly, you get the point, and it's a cumulative of 20 questions for each topic, all right? So I'll keep track of the number of questions being asked per topic. To start to see who goes first, please pick a number between 1 and 420.
420.
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. Norlan?
222.
Okay. And Brian?
386.
Wow, the number is 369. Brian, you win with 386. Very close.
Let's go.
Sorry.
Let's go.
So Brian, you are going to go first. I have the first one written down here, right? If you're familiar with 20 questions, we'll start with yes or no questions, and we'll try to whittle it down as to what 2024 Tour de France thing we are talking about. Go for it.
Oh, right. I have to ask a question.
You ask a question, like a yes or no question.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit! It's just like anything.
Yeah, so I guess you got to start to whittle it down. So whether or not you got to ask a yes or no question. I'm not going to give you any clues.
It can be like an object.
Yeah, but you have to ask whether or not it is.
Is it a rider?
It is a rider. Yes, you get to ask again, or you can guess a rider.
Are they from the USA?
They are not from the USA. No. Next person. Norlan, I'm going to go clockwise around my screen here. So Norlan, you are next. 2 questions so far.
We're trying to guess a moment.
No.
Trying to guess a person?
A rider.
Yeah,
It's a rider.
This one we've whittled.
Topics of rider.
This one's a rider. Yep.
Easy. I got you. Are they in the top 5 of GC?
No. Sorry.
Ooh.
Next.
Okay.
I
BSP.
gotta pull up the GC list here.
Yeah.
Are they Belgian?
Are they Belgian? No, they're not Belgian. That is the 4th question. Brian, over to you. Back to you, Brian.
Do they have a blue mustache?
No, they do not have a blue mustache. No. Norlan, over to you.
I guess I'll keep it consistent. Were they in the top 20 of the GC?
Oh, okay. Now I have to look at top 20.
Yeah, everyone's looking at the GC list now.
Stand by, top 20. No, this rider is not in the top 20. Wow. That is the 6th question. BSP, over to you.
Are they a sprinter?
No, they're not a sprinter. Brian?
Shit. Do they wear pink?
Do they wear pink? No, they do not. I mean, like in their personal life, I can't say, but their
team jersey.
Their kit is not pink. No. Norlan?
Oof. What question is this?
This is question number 9. You guys have asked 8 questions so far.
Okay. Did they win a stage?
They did win a stage. Yes, this rider won a stage. Yes,
we got them.
Yes. So you get to ask another question, or you can guess a rider.
Okay. Was it Bardet?
It was Romain Bardet. Yes.
Wow.
That's what I was going to say next. Is it Romain Bardet?
It is Romain Bardet. Ding, ding, ding. Romain Bardet.
Let's go. What do I win? Do they want a hat?
What do you want to win?
You win the 1 of 1 Mark Cavendish shirt.
Yeah.
There are more things to discuss. Now, let me ask you guys real quick. Should I stay with riders specifically, or should I go more abstract? Because I have more abstract things written down here.
Mm, I guess more abstract.
Okay. All right. Let's go more abstract. All right.
Damn.
I feel like I'm already running out of ideas to ask about people.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but every
Because
time
it would just
resets.
end up being the same.
No, every time
the same questions again.
Yeah, every time it resets, right? So
yeah.
No, let's go more abstract. I got something else here. Norlan is in the lead. Let's see at least the first person to 3 points, right? So Norlan, you won that last one. We'll see. I mean, if it takes forever, then we'll but Norlan, since you won that last one, would you like to go first, or would you like to defer to the person who guesses next, which would be BSP?
Let's go BSP.
Okay, BSP, you're going to start us off.
Mr. No Questions.
Is it about a crowd member?
No, it is not about a crowd member. No.
Crowd member.
Brian, over to you.
Oh. A crowd member. Is it about any team DSs or employers?
Oh, that's a yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I will say it is about team DSs or employers. I would say yes. That's kind of a tricky question.
What is a DS?
A director sportif. He's like the coach in the car that's talking to them.
Oh, okay.
So is it about a DS?
No.
Then Sorry. I'll leave it at that, because then it makes it too confusing if it's.
So it's no. It's not. It's not about a DS. No. So that means
what was the other part though?
Like he said, like, or a team. That's sort of what he said, but we're still unconfirmed on that. But you get the next question, so you can ask.
Okay, was it about a team?
Yes, it is. This revolves around a team. Yes.
Okay. Is it about Intermarché?
No.
All right. Well, there goes Vinny and everything.
Is it about drama?
So it shouldn't be, is it about? It should be like, is it, right? Because this is like a person, place, or a thing. So I guess that's
person, place, or thing.
Yeah, it's a person, place, or a thing. Yeah.
So is the answer? So wait, sorry. So we've narrowed down that the answer for this, the topic for this, is going to be a team name.
Yes, that's yes. Okay. I will confirm that. Yes.
Oh shit. Is it a team? No, wait, that's not going to be a yes or no question. Is it Alpecin?
No. That's the fifth question. Brian, over to you.
Is it Bahrain?
No, it is not.
Is the team in the top 10 of GC?
Like, does the team have a top 10 rider in GC?
Yeah.
No,
anyway.
No, this team does not have a rider in the top 10 of the tour. No.
Okay.
BSP?
Is it an American team?
It is not an American team. No. Over to you, Brian.
Are they named after a old sporting goods store?
No, they are not. Oh. They are not named after a sporting goods store. No.
Who's named after a sporting goods store?
Decathlon.
Never been.
It's like a Sports Authority Walmart type of store.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it
Phil Guyman's favorite?
Yeah. Is it what?
Total Energies.
Total. No, it is not Total. That is the 10th question.
Wow.
Is it Red Bull?
It is not Red Bull. Bora. Hans Grohe. No, it is not. Brian.
What kind of bikes do they ride?
I can't say that. That's not a yes or no.
You can't?
That's not a yes or no.
Oh shit, you're right. It's not. Fuck. Shit. Thought I had you with that one.
That could have been a dead giveaway, my man.
I know. So it's not there. You said they're not in the top 20.
Oh, I said not the top 10.
Oh, not the top 10.
Yes.
Okay. Hmm. Do shit. Is it Lotto?
It is not. It is not Lotto Destiny. Norlan.
Is it IKEA?
It is Archaea B&B Hotels.
Wow.
It is Archaea B&B Hotels. Yes. You guys know what type of bikes they ride? Just as a bonus little bit.
Envy.
Envy is what BSP has. Norlan, Brian, you care to throw a hat in the ring here?
No, wait. I'm changing my answer. They're still on those Bianchis.
They are on Bianchis, yes. Total rides those Envy bikes.
The Envy.
Yeah. The Envy
I
Melee.
did not notice that they were on Bianchis.
Yes, they're on that.
They don't look like Bianchis.
Bianchi, like with the top tube like starts wide and in the middle it gets tighter. It's like an hourglass. It's pretty wild. And on one side it doesn't even say Bianchi. It says like Rosetta Corsa, which always kind of throws me off whenever I see that bike. I'm like, what bike is that? Oh, it's right. It's the Bianchi.
It says Bianchi on the left side of the down tube.
On the non-drive side.
On the non-drive side.
Yes. And on the drive side it
Bianchi,
says Corsa,
and on the right
Rosetta.
side it says Rosetta.
Yeah.
And those handlebars were the ones that were like snapping last year.
Yes,
they were multiple races.
They're sort of very similar to the Cervelo S5 bar that like comes up with like the Y off the stem, but I don't know if you guys can see this picture here, but it is a pretty wild looking bike.
Yeah. Looking at that exact image.
Oh, very it says it on the drive side.
Very good. This is a different one.
I was gonna say that's not what it looks like when they run it.
Yeah.
And while we're here,
model?
Sorry, go for it.
What model is it? It's the Ultra XR4 or something like that.
Huh.
While we're here, I just want to say, please, Intermarché, get better jerseys. Jerseys are trash, and I want to buy a Benny one. So I want to buy it for Benny so bad, but that jersey's.
I don't think that jersey's that bad.
I think it's compared to the other jerseys.
Yeah. How did we feel about Visma's jerseys?
Great question. I have thoughts on it. Does anyone else have thoughts before I talk about it?
I didn't love it.
You know, I think the design is cool up close in the Peloton. No.
What do you mean?
It just got lost.
Stick out?
Yeah, it just like looked the same as like the Bora one. It kind of looked the same as like Israel. You know, it's just like dark blue and the detail was nice, but you have to really be up close, I think, to like see that detail.
I think last year their jersey was so sick.
Last year was like the bright yellow one.
The jumbo, yeah.
Also,
no.
No.
Last year was the one that had like the star patterns.
Yeah,
like the honeycomb on the shoulder.
Spacey with the honeycomb. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like all of the constellations on the day they were born was like on their
so cool.
jerseys.
And the bikes looked sick.
Yeah, you're right. That was cool. Yeah. I think speaking of like looks and kit and stuff, I think that Rafa, as much as, you know, I think they've sort of fallen out of grace in this general cycling community. I think they did a great job with the EF kit again. I think the Cannondale bike for Carapaz with the polka dots looked awesome. Sick. That like he looked great. That bike looked good. And I think I've said it before, but I like Sean Quinn's like national champs jersey. I think it's pretty sweet. Like those Rafa protein
NBC Sports
kits.
Loves Sean Quinn too.
NBC Sports loves Sean Quinn. They want to talk about him all the time. He finished an hour and a half back, but they still want to talk about him all the time.
During the
what did you say about Rafa?
Huh?
You said, what did you say about Rafa? You said people don't like him anymore?
I think that Rafa has seen its peak in cycling. I think Rafa's peak as of right now is behind them. That's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they
Gotcha.
can't have a second peak. They very well might, but I think that the height of their, popularity is behind them.
I thought they were
Not that I
going out of
think that
business.
so they did. So Rafa laid off their American workforce that worked in their American office. They did not lay off
Oh,
anyone in the UK, and they
oh,
have not shut down any of their retail stores here in the States. They literally just like laid off their corporate workforce that lived here. But the Rafa is now owned by the Waltons, who love cycling and have done a lot for cycling in the southern part of the United States. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll become a brand like a Van Rysel that you can pick up at Walmart, like you can pick up Van Rysel at Decathlon. You know what I mean? Like I think if they make good stuff that's affordable and people can buy it in like a big box store and make cycling more accessible, like I think Decathlon and Van Rysel has done, then I don't know, more power to them, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. As far as the game's concerned, I'll just say Norlan's running away with it. So let's just give him the dub. He's got 2 points here.
I
learned a
agree.
lot. I think from now on, maybe we'll just stick with riders' names, but that was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for sort of experimenting in that. Let's real quick. Can we rate the tour? Can we all rate the tour on a scale of 1 to 6 stars for the number of stages Pog won? 1 to 6. Let's give it a rating. I'm going to start. I'm going to start myself. I'm going to say 5 out of 6 stars. I think it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of big moments. As much as I might not be a fan of Cav, him winning that stage was huge. Benny winning is huge. 4 different people being in the 4 leaders jerseys, very exciting. I know that Pog sort of like had it in the bag, but it was, Pog was super Pog. Jonas was better than he needed to be. Remco really showed up. I think it was an exciting tour. I'm excited for the next year too. I hope they're all back. I hope Primoz can stay on his freaking bike. And yeah, so I would give it 5 out of 6 stars. Brian, let's go over to you.
I'm in the same boat. I'm going to say 5 out of 6. Probably would have been a 6 out of 6, but I did not love the fact. I mean, obviously it was because of the Olympics, but I missed that last stage being like the celebratory.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that. But that didn't really work.
No, the TT was not it.
Yeah, I think they were hoping for like a Planche de Belfi, a big like GC shakeup on the last day, but having it not be that was weird, right? It was like kind of weird that like Benny was like in green on the TT on the last day. Same thing with Carapaz, and they kind of celebrated the day before, but yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
And just like watching Cav like struggle to finish this stage, like give the guy a fucking break, like. But I thought it was great. I thought I did well. The one thing about that stage I did think was cool. I mean, this was probably only NBC Sports, but they were using like this cool drone shot around this one downhill that looked sick. Which I don't know why they weren't doing that the whole tour.
Yeah, they can only do it during TTs, I think, right now for ASO races. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Gotcha.
But it is sick. Yeah, it is sick.
Yeah, was it the Giro this year where they had the along the water?
Yeah, so the Giro is a different organizer than the ASO, so they're allowed to do it a little bit differently. I think they used it on some of those gravel stages, but yeah, there's something about regulations about like the camera has to be behind the rider. They did it on a TT during the Giro too, right? Like they did it.
That's what I'm thinking about.
That last year too in the Vuelta with Geraint Thomas and Primoz and But yeah, BSP. What about you? Brian gave it a 5 out of 6. Me too. What do you think out of 6? How would you rate it?
I'm gonna go with a 4.
4 out of 6.
Yeah. Do I have to say why?
I mean, not with that attitude, you don't. Norlan, what do you think out of 6 stars?
I think it was 4.8. I think it had potential to be 6, but then Will was dropping out, and then Seth Kuss like a week or 2 before the tour. I think that kind of ultimately altered it. So I think you were saying that they got a lot of negative press, and then beforehand, and I think the opposite for me. I was like, man, it's gonna be a banger, and then it kind of like
Yeah.
As it went by, it was a little bit sad. But yeah, definitely still a banger. 4.8. I think next year be great.
Yeah, next year. What about the Vuelta? We're gonna have the Vuelta soon, and let's see, maybe Juan Ayuso will win or something crazy. Jonas is not going. Yeah.
Tade dropped from the Olympics.
Tade did drop out of the Olympics today. He said he was too tired, but let's be honest, he's mad, right? Do we know why he's mad?
No.
Because the women's team did not select Erska to the Olympics. She just won nationals. She is the women's national champ. They did not select her. Instead, they selected a geriatric, same age as me, bike rider, 36-year-old cyclist. And so basically someone that doesn't really perform that well anymore. And so the rumors are that Pog's a little bit upset with the Slovenian Olympic selection committee. And so he was like, yeah, I'm too tired. Not going to do it.
Whoa,
too tired.
do you know how the selections are made? Because that's how that Carapaz was left off the Ecuadorian team. And I was like, dang, this seems kind of crazy. Maybe they think they're too sped for the tour. It's like too close. I don't know.
So the Carapaz one is interesting because the Ecuadorian team only gets one rider. And so I think before this tour, even though Carapaz is the defending gold medal champion, and so that, should mean that he should be here. Before this tour, he wasn't really performing in the same way. I think now it's a very different story, and he probably should be there. He's on great form. The Slovenian team has 3 riders, I believe. They get to choose riders for different disciplines like TT and road cycling and all that sort of stuff. It's weird. I think I don't know how it's selected. I think different countries are different. Some are qualifiers, some are like just selections. Depends on how many you have.
There was no trials for cycling.
No, there isn't. It depends on your palmares, and it depends on who's running the team, right? And it is all weird, right? Like the Belgian team is could be Remco, Wout, and Jasper, 3 guys that generally don't really get along. They don't really race together. They kind of are rivals in different ways, It is an interesting dynamic. I am excited about the Olympics. The TT is first. It's in just about a week. And then a week after that is the road race. So, excited about that.
August 3rd is the men's and the 4th is the women's.
Yep, that's right. Yeah. And the TT is 27 and 28. So, and there's some track stuff too. And it's a different dynamic. There's no race radio. We'll see.
That's right. No race radio.
Still a lot of pro cycling to go. Thank you guys for doing this episode of the podcast. Thank you all for watching or listening. If you could give us likes and subscribe and all that good stuff, no matter where you're watching or listening. That'll just about do it. I will, I won't lie. I'm a little bit sad the tour's over,
I said that to Meg this morning when I got up. We were sitting on the couch having breakfast, and I was like, what am I supposed to put on?
Yeah, Tour of Wallonia. Tour of Wallonia started today.
Gotta break Tiz out again, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, those are on those. Yeah. Go ahead.
No GCN Plus.
Those are on Max. I believe there's the Tour of Wallonia is on Max right now. Yeah, I believe so.
What? Of who? What place?
It's Wallonia. It's northern France near Belgium. It's the French-Belgian border. The Tour of Wallonia. Simon Clark is there. Other riders. So.
Well, tune in.
Yeah.
Other riders.
Other riders. I don't remember the full.
There's other bike riders there.
Yeah.
People riding bikes are there.
No one from the tour, but this was great, guys. Thank you for doing it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Peace.
We are It's Just a Hill, a cycling club that promotes inclusion, judgment-free, with no gatekeepers. Focused on creating content from behind the handlebars to in the studio, It's Just a Hill is producing videos and podcasts to spread the message that cycling is for everyone. We are focused on reminding everyone that riding your bike can help you overcome any obstacle, because after all, it's just a hill.
Decaf left, regular right. Decaf left, regular right. It's very challenging work.